Good morning, children. How are you all? I hope you are fit and fine. So, in our previous chapters, we have studied about the history of a country, and today we are going to study about the government of a country. So, just as your parents look after your needs at home, the government looks after the needs, welfare, and safety of the people of a country. It is the government which decides where to build schools, roads, hospitals, parks, stadiums, stations, and airports. The government also provides services like electricity, water, telephone, and communication. So, today we are going to learn about our government. So, in your class third, you have studied that there are two types of government. One is central government and another is state government. So today we are going to learn about the functions of the state and the central government in a chapter 21, and the name of a chapter is a government. So now let's see what all we are going to learn in a chapter 21. So we'll learn about the different levels of government in our country, then the functions of the central government and its contribution, then the functions of the state government and its structure, and the last, the Supreme and the High Court. So all these points we are going to learn today. So now, before starting a chapter, let's have a small discussion. So the government lays down rules and makes laws. Okay, so this we know. It also ensures that we live according to the laws and that we follow all the rules. So we do all this, we live according to the laws and we follow all the rules. But why do we need such a government? Wouldn't our lives be free and happier without the government? So, can you imagine your life without a government? Does a government is important for a country? So all these questions answers we will get in this chapter. So let's start our chapter. So India is a huge country and it is not possible for a single government to look after the entire country properly. So the Indian government works at different levels. So the Indian government works at different level. The first one is at the local level, then the level of the state, and then the national level. So the Indian government works on these three different levels. The local level refers to your village, town, or locality. The state level covers an entire state like Punjab, Kerala, Bihar, and our own state, Madhya Pradesh, etc. And the national level refers to the entire country. When the government works at different level, it brings the government closer to the people. If the government works only at the central level, so the government won't be able to connect with the people of the country, and the government at the central level will not be able to know the requirements of the people at the state level or at the local level. So that's why we have three levels of government. Thus, a government consists of central or union government, then state government, and local government. So, a central or union government for the entire country, and it is based in the capital Delhi. State governments for the different states, and they are based in the state capitals. So you know we are having 29 states and 29 states are having their own state government, and the state governments are based in the capital. So in a state Madhya Pradesh, we are having the state government's offices in Bhopal because Bhopal is the capital of our state Madhya Pradesh. Then next, local government for the governance of the immediate community. Urban areas are governed by municipal corporation or municipal councils. And municipal councils are also known as Nagarpalika. And rural areas are governed by Panchayati Raj institutions such as the Zilla Parishad and Gram Panchayat. So now let's see the three levels of government of a country. So here you can see on the top is the central government, which looks after the entire country. Then state government, which takes care of the states. Then local self government. So this is the three levels of government in a country. So now let's see next. So this is the next topic, relationship between the center and the states. So now let's understand it. So the responsibility of governing the country is divided between the center and the state governments. So as I told you earlier that in your class 3rd also you have studied that a government is divided into center and state governments. Certain responsibilities concern the country as a whole. For example, the defense of our borders or a relationship with other countries. So these are the responsibilities of the central government. So the defense of our borders or our relationship with the other countries are the responsibilities of the central government. And now let's see the responsibilities of the state governments. So educating the people and looking after law and order in the different states are the responsibilities of the state governments. And do you know, children, the central government provides help to the state governments whenever required. So, whenever the state governments require any help, so the central government provides help to the state governments. All the relationship between the different levels of government, they are the three levels of government, central, state and local, and the responsibilities of each of these three levels of government are clearly laid out in the constitution. The constitution, as you learned last year, is a set of rules according to which a country is run. So it is a set of rules according to which a country is run. So you know and you have studied in your previous class, class 4th, that constitution is a set of rules according to which a country runs. So now let's learn about the central government. The central government makes laws for the country and also sees that they are implemented or executed. So it is the main responsibility of the central government. So what is the main responsibility of the central government? To make laws and to see whether the laws are implemented or not. And the main lawmaking body of the country is the parliament. So parliament is the main law-making body of a country. The parliament consists of two houses, the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, and the president. You know who is the president? So president means Rashtrapati. So the parliament consists two houses. One is Lok Sabha and another is Rajya Sabha. And it also consists the president. So now let's learn first about the Lok Sabha. So this is the Lok Sabha of a country, India. So the Lok Sabha is the lower house of the parliament. The members of the Lok Sabha are directly elected by the people for a period of 5 years. So you have seen your parents, they go to give vote. So have you seen them? Yes, you have seen that your parents gives vote. So the members of the Lok Sabha are directly elected by the people, means by us, by your parents and by those people who are 18 years of age and above. And these members are elected for a period of 5 years. And because of this, Lok Sabha is called the House of the People. And in the Lok Sabha, there is a speaker, means a person who is called as speaker. So now what is the duty of the speaker? So the speaker ensures the smooth proceedings of the house. So when discussions goes on in the Lok Sabha between the elected members, so it is the speaker who tries for the smooth proceedings in Lok Sabha. So he keeps everything in control because sometimes while discussions in Lok Sabha, the discussions turns into arguments or some members gets angry. So the speaker takes care of all these things. So now who can contest elections for the Lok Sabha? So any citizen of India who is above 25 years of age can contest elections for the Lok Sabha. So contest means they can fight elections for the Lok Sabha. So any citizen who is 25 years of age can fight elections for the Lok Sabha. Citizens of India above 18 years of age can vote in the general elections to elect the members of the Lok Sabha. As I told you just now that people who are above 18 years of age can give vote. So at present, who is the speaker of Lok Sabha in a country? So who is he? Do you know? So here is the answer. Mr. Om Birla is the present speaker of Lok Sabha of a country. So to ensure that the elections are fair, the country has been divided into constituencies. So now what are constituencies? So constituencies are an area whose voters elect a representative to a legislative body. The constituencies vary in size, but all have roughly the same population. And do you know how many constituencies we are having? So we are having 543 constituencies in our country. So candidates from several political parties, they stand for election from each constituency, and the candidate who gets most votes is declared elected from that constituency. The 16th Lok Sabha, which was formed after the general election in 2014, has 543 members. The Lok Sabha can have a maximum strength of 552 members. So the strength of Lok Sabha is 552 members, of which 530 members represents the state. That means 530 members they are elected by the states, and 20 members represents the union territories. So 20 members they represent union territories of a country India, and 2 members represents the Anglo-Indian community. So these 2 members representing the Anglo-Indian community are nominated by the president. So now tell me, which is the present Lok Sabha? Do you know? So it is the 17th Lok Sabha at present. Just now we have learned about 16th Lok Sabha, which was formed after the general election in 2014, and at present we are having the 17th Lok Sabha. So now let's see next, children. So this is our next topic, the Rajya Sabha. So now let's learn about Rajya Sabha. So the Rajya Sabha is the upper house of the parliament. The members of the Rajya Sabha are not elected directly by the people of India. So in Rajya Sabha, members are not elected directly by the people of India, not like the members of the Lok Sabha who are directly elected by the people. So the members of the Rajya Sabha are not directly elected by the people. Instead, they are elected by the members of the state legislative assemblies for a period of 6 years, and that is why it is also called Council of States. So now what is the meaning of state legislative assemblies? So state legislative assemblies are also called Vidhan Sabha, and it is in every state and in union territories also. So now what is the function of the state legislative assembly? So the most important function of the state legislative assembly is lawmaking. So the state legislature has the power to make laws on all items on which parliament cannot make or enact laws. So this is the function of the state legislative assemblies. The Rajya Sabha is presided or conducted over by the Vice President of India. So do you know who is the present Vice President of our country India? So now let's see. So he is Mr. Venkaya Naidu and he is our current Vice President. So now let's see the strength of Rajya Sabha. So Rajya Sabha has maximum strength of 250 members, of which 238 are elected and 12 are nominated by the President. One-third of the members retire every 2 years. So the Rajya Sabha is a permanent house unlike the Lok Sabha, which is a non-permanent house. So like in Lok Sabha, the members are elected for every 5 years. But in Rajya Sabha, only one-third of the members retire every 2 years. So that's why it is the permanent house. So now let's see next. So this is one did you know and it is given in your book. So now let's read it out. India has an electorate, people who are qualified to vote, of 714 million people. This is larger than the electorate of the European Union and United States combined. The general elections of 2009 to the 15th Lok Sabha was the largest democratic elections in the world. So the 15th Lok Sabha elections was the largest democratic elections in the world. So democratic you all know where the people choose the government. So in our country the 15th Lok Sabha election was the largest democratic election in the world. So now let's see next children. So this is the next topic, the president. So now here you can see who is he. He is a current president. So his name is Mr. Ramnath Kovind and he is the president of our country, India. So now let's learn about the president of a country. So the president is elected by the members of the Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha and the state legislative assemblies for a period of 5 years, and the president is the head of a country. Then let's see next. So this is our next topic, the prime minister and the council of ministers. So here you can see who is he. He is a very famous person and you know him very well. So who is he? Yes, he is the Prime Minister of a country and his name is Mr. Narendra Modi. So now let's learn about the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. So after the general election, which is generally held every 5 years, the political party that gets maximum number of seats forms the government. So the political party that gets maximum number of seats forms the government. The President of India swears in the leader of that party as the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is the head of the government and all powers rest in his or her hands. So the Prime Minister is the head of the government and all powers rest in his or her hands, and our present Prime Minister is Mr. Narendra Modi. So Mr. Narendra Modi is the head of a government and all power rests in his hands. Now, a prime minister alone cannot handle or cannot take care of entire country. So, to help the prime minister in the discharge of his or her functions is done by a group of specially chosen ministers. So, to help the prime minister in the discharge of his or her functions is done by a group of specially chosen ministers. And these ministers look after separate departments of the government. So, now which are the separate departments of the government? So, now let's see. So, they are defense, health, agriculture, industry, and finance. So, these are the departments which are looked after by the ministers. So, these are the different departments which are looked by the different ministers. So, the prime minister and these ministers make up the council of ministers. So, the president and these ministers together they make the council of ministers. So, now let's see next children. So, this one more did you know is given in your book in this chapter. So, now let's read it out. These days, elections in India are conducted using electronic voting machines EVMs. Before the 2002 general elections, people used to cast their votes manually using ballot paper. So, before 2002, people used to cast their votes manually using ballot paper. And after 2002, these days we are using EVM machines, and the full form of EVM machines are electronic voting machines. So these days elections in India are conducted using electronic voting machines, and the short form of it is EVMs. So now what is ballot paper, which was used before 2002? So ballot paper is a sheet of paper on which the names of the contesting candidates along with party names and symbols are listed. So the ballot paper was used earlier, and nowadays electronic voting machines EVMs are used to record votes. So now let's see next. So now let's learn about the state governments. Laws for each state are made by the state legislative assemblies. So here you can see this is the state legislative assembly of our state Madhya Pradesh, and where it is located in Bhopal, because Bhopal is the capital of our state Madhya Pradesh. So if you want to see the state legislative assembly, you can also visit Bhopal, and there you can see this state legislative assembly. So the members are directly elected by the people of the state for 5 years, and the head of the state government is the chief minister. So now tell me, who is the chief minister of our state? Yes, he is Mr. Shivraj Singh Chauhan. So Mr. Shivraj Singh Chauhan is the chief minister of our state Madhya Pradesh. So the chief minister also chooses his or her council of ministers to help him or her run the government. Like the president, he also has a council of ministers who helps him to run the government. Then, like the head of a country is the president, so likewise the head of each state is the governor. So the governor in each state is appointed by the president of a country, India. So now let's see next children. So this is the next topic, the courts. So now we learn the courts of a country, India. So if any citizen of India feels that his or her fundamental rights are being denied or declined or refused, so he or she can approach the courts for justice. So in your previous class, class 4th, you have studied about the fundamental rights and fundamental duties. So if any citizen of India feels that his or her fundamental rights are denied or refused, so he or she can approach the courts for justice. So here you can see this is Supreme Court, and this Supreme Court is at New Delhi, and the Supreme Court at New Delhi is the highest court of the country. And because it is the highest court of the country, so its decision on any matter is final. And the highest court in a state is the High Court. So here you can see this is the highest court of a state, Madhya Pradesh. And there are district courts at the district level. So you know the district of a place Itarsi. Yes, the district of a place Itarsi is Hoshangabad. So in Hoshangabad there is district court. And you can see High Court in every state, and Supreme Court is the highest court of our country, India. So if a person or citizen of a country is not happy or satisfied with the decision of district court, so they can go or approach or they can appeal to the High Court, which is the highest court in a state. And if the person or citizen is not happy or not satisfied with the decision of the High Court, so they can approach or they can go or they can appeal to the Supreme Court, which is the highest court of a country, India. But if they are not satisfied or happy with the decision of Supreme Court, so nothing can happen because Supreme Court decision is the final decision. So the decision of District Court, High Court can be changed, but the decision of Supreme Court is final. So these were the courts of a country, India. So now let's see next. So now review time, children. So now let's revise what all we have studied today. So we have studied in India there is a central government to govern the entire country, the state governments for each state, and local governments for the local, rural and urban areas. So this we have studied that we are having three levels of government: central, state and local government. Then in the central government, the parliament consisting of the Lok Sabha, the Rajya Sabha and the president, and they makes the law for the country. So this we have studied. Then we have studied that the state legislative assemblies make the laws for the state. So this also we have studied that the state legislative assemblies, they makes the laws for the state. Then next, so then we have studied that municipal corporation or councils are responsible for local governance in the urban areas, whereas Zilla Parishads and Gram Panchayat look after the rural areas. So the village areas are looked after by the Gram Panchayats and the Zilla Parishads. And the municipal corporation or council are responsible for local governance in the urban areas. Then we have studied about the courts. The Supreme Court is the highest court in the country. Then there is High Court in each state, and then there is District Court on the district level. So this all we have studied today. So now let's see your homework for today. So what is your homework? So you have to write down what is parliament, then what is constitution, and learn and write questions and answers. So these both questions answers you will get in the chapter, and you have to learn and write questions and answers of this chapter and also of other chapters which are going to come in your exams, because your exams are going to start very soon. So be prepared for your exams and bring good marks. So now let's see next. So it's the time for me to leave now. I hope you have understood our government chapter. So this was the last chapter of your term 2 syllabus. So be prepared for your exams. So take care of yourself and be prepared for your exams and take good care of yourself.